Well, my brother-in-law was already in the Coast Guard, my sister's husband. He was from Amityville. So he was already in the service. Oh, but they had a wedding planned. So it was very hard for him to get to come to the wedding because it was a week after Pearl Harbor, but they managed to do that somehow. My older brother, George, had a hard time getting in the service. He tried everything because he had a heart murmur. But at one point, he went to the Navy and they took him by some error of judgment or something. And the Navy, a terrible place for him. He would get so seasick on my father's boat. I don't know how he stood that whole thing. I don't know. And then my brother ran away from home before the war with a friend of his, Bud, his name was. Rollins is his real name. And we didn't know where he was. And nobody knew what happened to them. They just sort of disappeared. They went to Canada and joined the Canadian Air Force. She was in the Navy in Washington, D.C. So one time when my brother didn't write to my mother for a year while he was in the service, and she was so upset, and so was everybody else. But we knew he didn't die because my sister was working in the Office of Personnel in Washington, and she knew he was alive. She could look that up and find out he was alive. So I wrote him a scathing letter. I couldn't take it anymore. I told him what a rat he was, and the letter came very fast. And it turned out that he and his friends had a little bet. Who could last the longest without writing home? But young people do things like that. Yeah, not thinking.